Good morning and thank you for coming. We are working on Lordland ethics. Lordland ethics in Christian counseling. And after 3 sessions, we are reading the AACC, American Association of Christian Counselors. They have Lordland ethics on their counseling. Now, even it's not a little, but even I think almost all organizations have their own codes, and this is about the ethic codes. So we are, by reading and just digging into it, we can understand what kind of ethic codes they have, and that represents how they counsel people. So it is quite important. So we want to just continue to work on it. 1-140. Dual and multiple relationships. Dual relationships involve the breakdown of proper professional or ministerial boundaries. A dual relationship exists when 2 or more roles are mixed in a manner that can harm the counseling relationship and or the therapeutic process. This includes counseling as well as personal, fraternal, business, financial, or sexual and romantic relationships. Not all dual relationships are necessarily unethical. It is client exploitation that is wrong, not the dual relationship in and of itself. However, it remains the responsibility of the counselor to monitor and evaluate any potential harm to clients. Okay, when you have, so let's say we are counselors, and when we have clients, our relationship must be counselor and counselee. That's one relationship. But what if you had, a counselor and a client kind of like each other or love each other, and they built another relationship, like a boyfriend and girlfriend, or any other sexual partners or something, then, or any other relationships beside the counseling setting, then it's gonna be another relationship. So one relationship as counselor and a client, that's one, and you built another relationship, the boyfriend or girlfriend, for example, one more relationship, so that's gonna be your relationship. We don't wanna do it, cause when we build any other relationship beside the counselor and client, it's gonna be kind of tricky and tough, or sometimes impossible to help our clients because of other relationship. Okay, then we want to just give up one relationship. You can just avoid counselor and counseling relationship, or you can just give up your personal relationship beside of the counseling. Okay, it's up to you, but that's why you want to just be careful. Last time we just read AACC don't allow counselors to get married to their clients in 3 years after their counseling. Okay, so the counselors are supposed to monitor, and if they don't convince that they cannot keep just one professional relationship as counselor and client, they have to be careful. And then the time they have to decide can come soon. So for the professionalism and for protecting the organization, AACC, or for protecting your career as counselors, you better not to build your relationships at all. Okay. For example, I have 2 kids, and when they have some problems, I give them, we talk. But I don't say that it's a counseling. I just talk as a father to my kids. They are my kids. I can talk with them, but I don't say, I'm giving you a counseling. No. Okay? Because my primary relationship with my kids is father and kids. I'm not a counselor when I talk with my kids. Okay? So that's but if I just offer my kids, I'm gonna just offer you professional counselings, and they're gonna say, what? I don't need it, father, right? What's gonna be like it, So then I can lose the relationship with my kids. If I really want to give them professional counselings, I'm gonna ruin my relationship as father and kids. Okay, I wouldn't do it. If they need any professional counselings, I'm gonna just refer them to my friends or any other professional counselors. Okay. It's gonna be way better for them to get the professional counselings from somebody else beside parents. Okay. Then I think you can understand what's the dual relationship looks like. Okay, so we don't want to build dual relationships because for our career, our safety, our counseling itself, and for our clients. Right? Okay. 1-140-A. The rule of dual relationships. It is explaining about the dual relationship a little bit more. While in a counseling relationship, or when counseling relationships become imminent, or for an appropriate time after the termination of counseling, Christian counselors do not engage in dual relationships with clients. It's like this. Okay, right after the counseling. All right, the counseling is done. It's end. Okay. So all counseling sessions, whatever it was, 10 times or 5 times. So we finished the counseling. Okay. But you counselors offer your clients, but I fully love you. Let's have let's date with me or something like that, or let's get married or something like that. It's not appropriate. So you're not gonna make another relationships right after the counseling. What about before the counseling? You somehow your future client, and then you want to just build another relationship, kind of a special relationship before the counseling. Then after that, you're gonna have counseling with your clients right after that. It's not quite proper, so you don't want to build those kind of relationships. That's what I say. Some dual relationships are always avoided, like sexual or romantic relations, and counseling close friends. Well, you can just talk with your friends, but you don't want to just give them professional counseling because you know your friends well, and your friends know you well. It's gonna be very tricky, okay? And family members, as I told you, and employees, business partners, associates, or supervisees, the dual relationships should be presumed as potentially troublesome and avoided wherever possible. Okay. So, if you don't have to get confused. It is so clear. You don't want to consider all kinds of cases or possibilities or options. You just forget dual relationships, no matter what. Okay, just build a professional relationship as counselor and client. That's it. But why AACC has this kind of ethic codes, because it made lots of problems in the past. That's why they built their ethical codes like this. So simply, just to make your decision, make your minds that you're not gonna build any dual relationships other than counselor and client. That's it. Okay? That is so simple, and it's easier for us. We don't want to make any problem. Okay? Right. 1-140B. Proving an exception to the rule. Okay. So in general, we have kind of broad concept and details. Digging the details little by little. And Christian counselors have the primary burden of proof for a justified dual relationship by showing. So these are, the exceptions you want to prove. Number one, informed consent, including discussion of how the counseling relationship might be harmed as other aspects of the relationship proceed. So if you have to build dual relationships, or if you cannot avoid the dual relationships, you're gonna make a consent form. And you sign on it, and your client sign on it. But you want to just let your clients know that what kind of disadvantages and advantages and potential problems and those kind of things, you want to just make it clear on the document, and then you sign on it and let your client sign on it too, right? Number two, lack of harm or exploitation to the client. So you want to show that you're not gonna harm, you're not gonna, make your client in danger, and you want to just prove it. If you don't prove it, and you just prove that those are okay, building dual relationship is okay with a particular client, then you have to make it clear that there's no problem at all, and there will be no problem at all. It's going to be very tricky, but if you want, you can do it, right? I wouldn't do it. I don't like too much headaches, because having a counseling with my clients itself is pretty hectic. It is burdening job, okay? Time consuming, burdening, and I have to consider lots of things, and I don't want to add one more thing, dual relationship. Oh my goodness, I don't want to do it, but if you want, you can just try it. As a general rule, all close relationships are unethical. Right? Listen, do not misunderstand that. Okay, let me just keep on reading that. All close relationships are unethical if they become counselor-client or formally helping relationships. Okay. For example, you two are closer friends. You just met like 20 years ago when you were little or young, and you are friends. But one day, you felt, she's in trouble and she needs somebody's help, and you just announced that, okay, from now on, I'm gonna just have a professional counselor with you. Do you think it is natural? I don't think it's natural, okay? It's kind of awkward. It's kind of weird between the friends and person you know, and you don't want to do it. Okay? Well, a friend of mine, he's in Korea right now, but he visited me once, and we met somebody he knows, and I met the person a few times. So we got together and we did talk this and then, and we ate, we had a good time. We hung out together. And I found, and my friend found, the person has some problem with his kids. Since my close friend from Korea, he knows that that I can help somebody, and like counselings or coachings, whatever it is, you name it. So he suggested me and his friend to help him and his kids. But I didn't say no. When I look back, I think I had to say no, but I just wanted to help the friend. So I just said yes, and I just build a kind of counselor and client relationship. So for that I had to know, and I had to ask lots of things to this person and what's going on with him and his kids, the relationships, and what's his kids' conditions and things. So I just gave him counseling sessions like 3 or 4 times. It was free, and it was 60-minute counseling sessions. But since we knew each other before the counseling as friends, it was kind of hard for me a little bit to help him. And I just wondered if he wants see me as his counselor or his friend. That was kind of awkward. So I just finished the counseling sessions, and after that I just suggested him to contact me whenever he needs me. But the professional counseling sessions are over, And I noticed that, when I give counseling, I can give my clients homework. So, for example, I just gave him some homeworks like take the second kids to ice cream shop because she likes ice creams and she has favorite ice cream place. So I just gave him to have ice cream time with his second kid, but he didn't do it. We had counseling once a week, so 3 times, but he didn't do the homework. It was kind of surprising for me, because in general, when clients come to me, because they are paying for the counseling, if I give them particular homeworks with some reasons, with some purposes, okay, they do their homework because they met me as as their counselor, so they pay for it, and they know that I'm a professional counselor, and they think they have to do it no matter what, because they know that it's for themselves, not for me. Okay, it's not torturing people. Giving homework is not torturing people or making people hard, but so when my friend he met his counselor, he would do whatever his counselor wants him to do, but he didn't do it, and I noticed that. I think the guy, didn't take me as his professional counselor, but a person he knows. So, but he repeated it, 2 weeks, and then I just gave him, threw him a bunch of advices. That's not what I usually do, and I just, finished the counseling sessions, and he said yes. He said yes too. All right. So do not build your relationships. If you have your friends, just give your friends some advice or whatsoever. You can talk with your friends, but don't build any professional counselors. But you better refer those people to others so they can get better counselors. Environment wise. The setting is enough, okay? Right? Okay, dual relationships may be allowable, requiring justification by the foregoing rule if the client is an arm's length acquaintance and or the relationship is not a close one. Okay? And 1-140-C. Counseling with family, friends, and acquaintances. What did I say? Just don't do it. Okay? Just talk with them. Don't do counseling with them. Okay? Christian counselors do not provide counseling to family members or close friends, as dual relationships with other family members, acquaintances, and fraternal, club, association, or group members are potentially troublesome and best avoided, otherwise requiring justification. How are you going to justify those kind of exceptions? I don't think you have many things to justify those kind of counseling because there are lots of counselors and they can go into any counseling centers anytime they want. You are not the only counselor on this earth. So you can say no, and you better just refer them to other counselors or counseling centers. Okay. Right? Alright, so I think that's what you can know. And what about the 1-140B? Business and economic relations. Christian counselors avoid partnerships, employment relationships, and close business associations with clients. Barter relationships in exchange for rendered therapeutic services should be avoided as potentially troublesome and require justification. And therefore, if done, barter should be considered a rare and uncommon occurrence. Unless justified by compelling necessity, customer relationships with clients are normally avoided. Okay. Business and economic relations. So, for example, you have you have your clients for counseling, and you just found that your clients have a kind of a big business, okay, and you notice that you like your client, and the client likes you. It's not because of the romantic relationships or something like that, okay? No romantic relationships. But you like your client and the style or whatever, and you just respect your clients as entrepreneur, businessman, and woman, and your clients, likes you as a counselor. And you want to just have your own counseling center. Now you're working for a counseling center, but you want to build your own counseling office. And so you just suggest to your clients to build a counseling center, and I'm gonna be the head of the counseling center, and I'm gonna just hire more counselors there and steps, but I don't have money, so your clients invest for that, and you work for it, and when the counseling center make the profits, and you're gonna share the profits with your client. And do you think that is appropriate? No. But those things can be happened. Okay. Because your clients, get lots of benefits from the counseling sessions, and let's say he's thankful to you, okay, and he has lots of money for that. It's not a big deal for the man, your client, to build a counseling center or whatever, and your client can get profits from the counseling center, and you work for it. It can be a good business model, but it is not appropriate. Okay. But that happens. That happens actually. When people get lots of help from their counselors or pastors or monks, and then they are willing to do something for those people, and they had lots of money, and those things are not big deal, and they are willing to do it. But that's not the. I mean, it's not healthy at all, because you will see lots of problems with your client and future business partner. That's why we don't want to allow that. Okay. Do you have any questions or comments? No? No questions, comments? Okay. Do you think it makes sense? Okay. Do you have any dual relationships with your business partner or something like that? No? Alright, good. Okay. Some people, let's say I just work for a company, let's say trading company, right? And I have my boss, the owner, and the owner's business partners have a good relationship with me because I'm working for this company. And what if what if my owner's friends want me to just work for them, so which means just transfer, relocate, and then just offer the better positions and salaries, and you can do it. So I just leave this company and work for the person. I think it's okay. That's what we do. Alright? And I can feel a little bit sorry if I just give my current owner any disadvantages or financial loss or something, or losing the customers. But that's what it is. It's not big deal actually. As long as I keep the secrets with the current owner has, I think it's okay. Right? I'm not selling my current company's secrets or skills. Then I think it's okay, right? I'm not selling the information I have, but I just work for other companies. But if I'm working for this this owner, but at the same time I just work part-time for the other company, they are competing each other, that's not allowed. That's not what I'm supposed to do. That's unethical. So those kind of things are happening in this world, not only in the business field but the counseling field. So we have to be careful not to build those kind of dual relationships. So no business and economic relationships with our clients. So apparent, okay? Alright, and next one. 1-140-E, receiving gifts. Christian counselors recognize that sometimes, and for certain cultures, a gift, when it is given, is a token of respect and a way of showing gratitude to a counselor. Prior to accepting a gift, counselors consider the cultural narrative of the client, the monetary value of the gift, and any therapeutic implications. So it means that you counselors can take any gift from your clients. Can you?
Maybe small.
Small, like $1 million?
No.
$500,000?
Candies.
How much is small?
No, just very small. Candies or something.
Candies. gift card,
So the small.
$10,000 gift card. Is it too much? If you are the counselor who got, 10,000 gift cards, you'd be happy with that. You're not gonna, return that to client, right? Well, how much is it? Okay. You think you can get a gift from your client, Fuminori? So you can get a gift card or money from your client?
Probably yes.
Yeah. It says what? Yes, why not? But you wanna consider what? You can take it. They are happy to give you some because they thank you. Okay, why not? But you wanna understand what? But you wanna understand what? Cultural meanings. Okay. For example, let's say people, your clients are giving you kind of some gift or gift cards or money after the end of the counseling sessions or in the middle of the counseling sessions. For example, you are planning to have 10 sessions of counselings, but your client gives you gift money or things on 5th session or something, you can take it still. Why not? Some clients can give you some monetary or something before the counselings. Why not? They can give you anything they want, but we have to consider the cultural things. If you are familiar with your own country's culture and you have same people, same clients from your hometown or your countries or same culture they have with with what you have, you have no problem. Okay. But let's say your client gives you a Bible to you because your client thanked to you, okay? That's his, Bible. He used to read it and give it to you as a gift. This is my favorite Bible and I want to just give it to you. And you take it, okay? I think it is okay in the United States, right? But what if you are Muslim counselor and Christian, gives you a Bible to you? Do you think it is okay? No, not at all. Not at all. And I don't know, but there are lots of cultural differences between counselors and clients. And if we don't understand what meanings those gifts has, you get in trouble and they get in trouble too. If you don't understand why your clients gives you particular things, even money or something, and you want to just ask your clients, what does that mean? Okay, what does that mean? I'm giving you some money, like $20 or $20 gift card. What does that mean? Okay, then they're gonna answer you. I just want to say thank you and just have a nice drink after this or something. I think it is cute. It is nice. But giving somebody money can be particular sign You don't know, which means I'm gonna beat you or I'm gonna kill you. What if that has that kind of meaning? And we don't know that kind of culture or their traditions, and we have to be careful. So whenever you get any kinds of gifts, money, gift card, or whatsoever, you better ask your clients, what does that mean? Okay? Please, ask them, what does that mean? And they're gonna tell you, if that is not offending you, or disrespecting you, or harming you, you can take it. But if they are not clear for that, you gotta be careful. Alright? And on the other hand, if you don't want to take any kinds of gifts or monetary or gift card, you have to explain them why you have that kind of policy. Okay? Why they have that kind of policy. You know, I have my own rule, okay? For example, I don't take any gift or money without any explanations, okay? I usually don't take any money when I announce that this is free, and they are willing to give me, you know, some this and that, but I just you know, tell them I already, you know, stated that I'm not gonna take the money for this, and that's my rule. Sorry for that. Okay. And as Agatha said, if that is just too big, like 1 million or half a million or something like that, I wish I can get it though. You know? And then it is obvious that it is too much. But when I just give counsel to a king in Saudi Arabia or something, you know, 1 million is not, it's a little, you know, I can say it's a little, right? But other than that, if the amount is too big for me or for my clients especially, and it is not quite right. My client is very poor and he's giving you $10,000 gift card or something, and I always say no. Right? $10,000 gift card is okay for me, but it's not okay to my client. So those kind of things are quite important because sometimes you will get in trouble and you'll be in danger. Sometimes. If we don't understand the cultural settings, cultural meanings, and it can be very dangerous. So receiving gifts, sometimes it is not quite happy. 1-140F, counseling with fellow church members. Christian counselors do not provide counseling to fellow church members with whom they have close personal business or shared ministry relations. Dual relationships with any other church members who are clients are potentially troublesome and best avoided, otherwise requiring justification. Pastors and church staff helpers should take all reasonable precautions to limit the adverse impact of any dual relationships. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and when we come back, I want to just explain about it because it takes some time. Okay? Let's take a 10 minutes break. Right? So So I will see you at 11, okay? Moving on.
Yes.
So when did you come to the state?
When?
When did you come to the state?
Oh.
America?
Before. Before. When? More. 2005.
2000,
2005.
2005.
Mm.
So 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
But English, a little bit.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. So moving on, how'd you like studying?
Oh.
Like studying?
Oh, yeah.
Alright. So we're gonna continue that. I just read this counseling with the fellow church members. Actually, there are some counseling tools for caring church members, and that is actually good, but it is actually bad also. For example, Stephen ministry that is for helping the same church members. It's kind of helping and supporting and kind of counseling program for helping the same church members, and it is pretty helpful as long as they follow the right process, and the confidentiality is almost always the issue in the churches, because once they know each other and counseling, they usually can't resist to tell others. That's the problem. Okay. When we have counselings, the clients usually feel shame when so that's why they don't want to have counseling with any counselors they know. That's why we keep on saying that counseling with people you know well, like family members and business staffs, and even pastors are not supposed to build any other dual relationship with their church staffs, and those things are pretty. People think that it is okay. It is, they think it is possible and doable, and it is productive. But in many cases, it is, it's destroying the relationships in the churches. A church I know in Garden Grove, pastor. I never met the pastor though. I met the pastors after him. He had an affair with his secretary. Well, things are starting like light chat, talking about this and that, because they in the office, pastor and the secretary all the time. 5 days a week, 8 hours each, and they just order the things to the secretary, and the secretary just took care of it, and just take care of the pastor's schedules, and they just do talk this and that, and they just get to know each other. And then they just, felt something, and they just fell in love with each other. So they just decided that they divorce each and get married together. That was a pretty nasty one. And after that, they decided to leave the church. No. They decided to stay at the church. So the church members complained about it, and they just called the bishop, and there was 300 something people, church members, kind of a big church, and the real bad thing happened after that, because the bishop is a close friend with the pastor, and the bishop just allowed the pastor stay in the church, and the church members got angry and they left the church, and only 20 or 30 people remained there. It's not because they supported their pastor, but they just wanted to see what would be happening in the end. Since majority of church members left, the church got in trouble financially, and the church couldn't pay the salary to the pastor, and the pastor left the church. And I was told that the pastor is still doing his ministry in other church in other state. It is a kind of mess. when we have counselings with our church members, close friends, and business partners, we are in trouble. That's why we don't want to build any other any dual relationships. Okay, be professional and do provide professional counseling to our clients, and that's it. Okay, don't do anything else, and that's it. That's so clear and simple and safe. As I told you, Stephen Ministry is helping the church members. It is like it's not professional counseling program, but the helping people program. Okay, program for helping people. Well, but it has lots of topics like grief and loss, depression, stress, anxieties, those kind of things. So those staff got trained by a trainer, and they have their own system. And so when they have somebody who in trouble in their church members, they just visit them or talk with them in the church. And they just report that to their supervisor, and they discuss about it and how and to find the better help and better counselings. But helping those people is good, okay. But when they get to know their clients deeply, they can see what real problems are there, and they can see their church members' personal lives. After the crisis or emergency situations, the church members, the Stephen Ministries clients, they acknowledge that they just opened too many things to their church members, and they meet those people once a week at least on Sundays. So whenever they see the helpers, Stephen Ministry members and their supervisors, they feel shame. When I was in seminary, I was told that the pastors are not supposed to counsel their church members, but just care and help. It's about the same, but I don't know what's the difference. What are the differences between the pastoring or ministering or caring versus the counselings? Okay. Because pastors counsel their church members because they are taking care of those people. Because people just told me the kind of things when I was in seminary because of the shame. Because of shame and feeling guilty. That guilty feeling and shame can make church members leave their churches, because they know their pastor knows their weakness and their shame and their sins. Because there are two phases in churches and other religions, especially in the Protestant churches, not only Catholic churches, because Catholic churches have repent systems, like, let's say, I just forgot the name though. They just meet their priest, or they just call them their priest father, right? So they just repent to their, father, to their fathers or priests, like at least once a month, because they are not supposed to avoid their time to repent. But the Protestant churches, they don't have that kind of systems, but they still do that personally with their pastors, and they feel shame. Church members, they want to just show good things to other people, and their pastors are not the exceptions. When they feel vulnerable and they can't find any other things, so they talk with their pastors and feel shame and guilty, and they just leave their churches. Because it's not pleasant feelings when you meet somebody, who knows everything about you, especially your weakness and, sins. It's not pleasant feelings, okay? So people want to just show good things to others. So they have secrets at home. They have kind of, family secrets or group secrets. So they just put all kinds of shameful things in a jar and they close it and they don't want to open it to any other people, including their pastors. So it is risky. It is not safe at all to the pastors and churches, and even the church members also. Okay. That's why AACC, the American Association of Christian Counselors, they just don't want to do it. 1-140-G, termination to engage in dual relations prohibited. Christian counselors do not terminate counseling for the purpose of engaging in dual relationships of any kind. That means you have your client and you want to just build kind of boyfriend, girlfriend, or sexual relationships or marital relationships. For that, you just terminate the counseling, which means there are many more things to take care of your clients in the counseling settings, but you just terminate it for another relationship. That's not acceptable, okay? It's prohibited, so you just violate that code, you will be kicked out from AACC, okay? Some counselors and their former clients may agree that any future counseling will be done by another provider if after a legitimate termination and no identified risks of potential harm to the client, they decided to pursue another form of relationship. So, as we just took a look earlier, and for the business partners and economical relationships, you just terminate the counseling sessions. That is not acceptable also, okay? Termination to engage in dual relationships is always prohibited. That's what you want to just keep in mind. So simply just think that any kinds of dual relationships are not acceptable, right? ES1-200. Competence in Christian counseling, a call to excellence. Before we just continue that, so Son, you want to just share any kinds of dangers or risks when a pastor provides counseling to the church members or staffs? Have you ever tried that before?
Not professionally, but
Well,
yeah,
what
never.
what the professional means then?
Well, when I counsel, never one-on-one. But if I end up being one-on-one, it's the same gender. If it happens to be like a female, always that door open. And clear boundaries
Yeah.
before we begin.
Yeah. What if a client or guy is gay? Same thing, right?
Yeah, similar thing.
Okay. Do you have any experience that you just took care of your church members, kind of pastoral care or counseling? Pastoral care has everything in there, though, including counseling things. And then, did you feel any differences? Your clients or church members feel or act different ways before and after the counselings?
Yeah,
Pastoral
they
care?
treat it very informally
Mm.
because it's not a full-on like client and like counselee relationship. But yeah, I do need to inform them that like I don't have any professional training or I just do pastoral care.
Pastoral care is a professional.
It is,
thing.
yeah, but I'm not like licensed to do counseling like that. So I do suggest different counseling options to them too.
Okay.
No.
Do you think that you need like Christian counseling or any secular counseling license to talk with your church members?
I think it depends, personally, but I think I'll be able to better help them if I do have.
Well, it is
More
good to
professional.
it is good to know about the counselings, but basically I think I know and I believe that almost all MBA programs in seminaries or universities, they just have kind of particular classes for pastoral counselings. So I don't think all pastors need counseling licenses, whether that is secular or Christians, but because that's kind of a habitual item. Because pastors cannot avoid any kind of counselings to their church members, and pastoral care, has everything in it. As I told you, pastoral counseling. Pastoring is kind of a tough job and it needs lots of skills. What I'm saying is that when pastors take care of their church members, there are some risks. When pastors took care of their church members. So what kind of risks pastors can have? That's the question. What do you think? What kind of risks you can expect and be careful for that? You just mentioned, there can be any kind of, sexual or any kind of harassment things from clients or from pastors. So you just open the door when you have, kind of pastoral care to different sex
I've never had that much encounters. I'm relatively new to this church. But yeah, in the future, if that opportunity does present itself, I guess I'm here to learn more about.
You know what? In the United States, we don't have many elevators. But I was told that Rick Warren, the pastor, never just get in the elevator with other sex. But in the United States, nobody knows the same sex, people. I'm a guy and I have a guy with, in an elevator. It can be dangerous too, because what if they are gay or transgenders or something like that? So it's the same thing, but at least we can have any misunderstandings from others. When I'm in the elevator with a guy or looking guy, okay. Lots of people just confess their sins and they just need some advice from their pastors who, how can take care of their sins, issues, problems, and after that, they feel shame. So they don't want to just talk with their pastors, and whenever they see their pastors at the churches, they feel shame, and that's the one of the problems, and it can be risks to the churches and pastors. So I don't recommend any counseling counseling programs, between lay people. Unless there are particular professional counselors, but still I don't want to recommend that because confidentiality is pretty big issue. Even though they don't share anything to the church members, the counseling groups, but still it can be dangerous for the clients, the same church members, because when they share with somebody else, not to the counselor groups, but people are saying this and that, and the clients can think that counseling group opened that to others, so that kind of misunderstandings can be happened anytime. So I don't recommend that kind of things. If that is doable, if a church really want to have counseling ministry, I just recommend the church open a separate individual counseling centers near the church or in the town, and support the counseling center can help not only the church members but other local communities also. I think that is what we can do. Or the church can have a counseling centers and hire professional counselors. They don't come the same church, and that is so building more neutral zone. It is that is better for their church members, I think. ES 1-200 competency in Christian counseling, or call to excellence. Okay. In addition to being distinctly Christian, faith-based counselors must also uphold a strong commitment to clinical and professional excellence. Competence makes the truthful and realistic statements about the caregiver and the caregiving process. keeps pace with relevant research in the field, demonstrates awareness of limitations, avoids dishonest or exaggerated claims, incorporates accountability when there is awareness of hindering personal issues, and makes needed and appropriate reforms. So competence is crucial, I think. There is no forgiveness or any disadvantages because it is Christian counseling, not the, just counseling itself. Well, Christians like forgiving or understanding. Okay, those are good. But if you want to just provide counselings, you want to be competent. So God is calling people for the excellence. So there is no room to be, to be forgiven your less competence because you are Christian or because you are doing Christian counseling. Okay. God, the Bible says God is holy and you want to be holy. You want to be holy because God is holy. That means you don't have. It doesn't mean that you don't have to be good or excellent, right? Because you want to be holy because God is holy, and you just follow or imitate Jesus or some, those things. That means that you are called to be excellent. You just do whatever you want, less competent ways, and you're gonna be forgiven for that because you are Christian, because you are in the church communities. That's not what the Bible says. So you're gonna be competent. So once you have a job, so that means God calls you to do something through your job, because all jobs are good. But there are some exceptions though, killing people or raping people. But basically we just think God calls all people for His kingdom, and we want to be competent. And the Christian counseling is not the exception. So 1-210, honoring the call to competent Christian counseling. Christian counselors maintain the highest standards of competence with integrity, knowing and respecting the boundaries of competence, both personally and with others. So Christian counselors, we want to just keep the highest standards because that we take our jobs as God's call. So competence with integrity, right? Knowing and respecting the boundaries of competence. So we want to just keep our knowledges competent and skills and all other things. Managing the counseling centers, keeping good facilities and good maintenances. Well, there are some cultural differences, but basically we want to just keep our counseling centers and offices clean and tidy, and put some very mindfully and thoughtfully install the CCTVs and security and safety systems. Those are very important. There is no, excuses. People are saying, "Oh, this is a non-profit. This is church-owned and church-running counseling centers, and we don't have good enough budget." If you don't have a good enough budget, don't do it. Okay. If you don't have good enough budget for CCTVs and safety systems, don't do it. Don't do it. There's no exceptions. Those kind of excuses are sick and tired. Okay. No more. Okay. Christians, if you don't want to be good, don't do it. Don't do it. Just provide Christian counseling in a shabby, dirty, not professional centers. The counseling centers and offices. Please don't do it. That's disgusting. Okay. Christians are not supposed to, excuse because we don't have money, non-profit. It doesn't make sense at all. That's why people want to go to secular counseling centers. One 210 knowledge of standards. Christian counselors who choose to adhere to the AACC Christian Counseling Code of Ethics have a responsibility to understand and follow the code as well as comply with applicable state, federal laws and regulations. We don't build our own codes, but at the same time, we just build very competent codes, okay, and laws too. We don't want to have loose codes or laws than any other secular organizations and counseling centers. So we want to be more tight, actually, because we are Christians, because we are, competent, because we got the call from God, not from anybody else or any government entities or whatsoever. So we want to be more competent. That's what Christian counselors are supposed to do. This is great. 1-210 be recognizing limits of competence. Christian counselors do not offer services or work beyond the limits of their competence or scope of practice, like education, knowledge, training, and professional ministerial experience, and do not aid or abet the work of Christian counseling by untrained, unqualified, or unethical practitioners or helpers. Well, we want to know our limits. That's why. If we don't know our limits, we get in trouble. And we can actually harm our clients because we cannot provide kind of competent counselings and just do it because we are counselors, because we are Christians, because we are pastors, because we are in the churches. Then we can ruin our clients' lives, and we can sometimes manipulate or control others because we are in the church settings or Christian settings. That's not acceptable. So we have to know our limits, and it is kind of weird, sometimes, because when in the United States, when a school hires a teacher or teachers, background check is mandatory. Okay. If you just work for government, whether there is a city or state or county, you need to get background check, okay, and fingerprints. but churches can choose their teachers for their kids. They don't have background checks. That is weird. I don't know. I never seen any churches who require background checks or fingerprints for for having the teachers for their kids. We don't have best experiences and knowledges. Teachers, whenever they just volunteer for their teachers, they can serve their churches as the teachers for kids. Any kinds of level, kids, high school or junior high. But the church never asked them whether they have any criminal records or misdemeanor or felony records or something like that, or they just don't just request their backgrounds check ever. That's so dangerous in the United States. It's so stupid. What if those people have criminal records or felony records because of the sexual harassment or minors, having inappropriate relationships with minors or something? Okay, that is so dangerous. I don't know what churches are doing. Churches are so vulnerable. Churches are so corrupt in those areas. That's ridiculous. Churches. 1-220 duties to study and maintain expertise. Christian counselors keep abreast of and whenever possible contribute to news, research, knowledge, issues, and resources in Christian counseling and their respective fields. Counselors maintain an active program of personal professional growth, study, and continuing education to improve helping effectiveness, biblical integration, and ethical practice. They also seek out specialized training, supervision, and or advanced certification, credentialing if they choose to gain expertise in a particular area, and before practicing and advertising in recognized specialty areas of counseling and clinical practice. Okay. So Christian counselors are supposed to study hard, and those kind of certificates and credentials are so important for particular jobs and roles. Because other than that, how we can know those people are competent enough, how those people get ready for those kind of duties. Well, it doesn't guarantee their characters and skills are good enough for those jobs, but at least we can see the minimum requirements. So certifications are not full requirements, but I think those certifications are pretty kind of least requirement, I think. Okay, that's why we want to just have an interview for particular jobs and duties, and those are mandatory, I think. 1-230, maintaining integrity in work, reports, and relationships. Christian counselors maintain the highest standards of integrity in all their work, in professional reports, and in all professional relationships. Counselors delegate to employees, supervisees, and other subordinates only that work these persons can competently perform, meeting the client's best interests and done with appropriate supervision. Once we learn something, for example, pastor counseling or Christian counseling, we can memorize it always, forever? No. So we want to just study it and update it, and for the best performances. And so we better just maintain our integrity, especially work records. So all kinds of documents we need to just keep it for certain years. And documentations are very important. So when you just visit any doctor's office, there are a bunch of documents because we need records. When you see counseling centers and you just practice the personal, private counselings, and you want to just know the documentations, proper documentations. So you want to just store all kinds of documents for the safety, for protecting yourselves in the counseling centers, and those things are very crucial. So please keep that in your mind that we need the documentations. Keep those things safe. Do you have any questions or comments so far? Minori, no questions. Do you have any questions? So have you ever seen any background check requirements for the church teachers and staffs? And for the recruiting new pastors? Have you ever seen that before? I never seen that. Do you think the churches need that? Think about it. Okay, that's for today.